Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly Italian rugby roundup, where I'm going to be sort of talking about little bits and bobs from the last week in regards to Italian rugby, and that will start with Benetton, and this is kind of going to be a bit of a can Benetton win the Challenge Cup video. That's where I'll start, and then I'll got a few little bits to touch on at the end, but that is where we'll start. Obviously Benetton are playing in the quarter-finals of the second tier European competition this weekend. They have Connacht at home, a side only 2 weeks ago they beat in the URC in the last minute. Alessandro Isakor, I did a video on that 2 weeks ago. They will meet again this weekend in Treviso at the Monigo, where Benetton have just been flawless this season, maybe not in terms of performances but certainly in terms of results, and last weekend in the round of 16 game against the Lions, it was pretty much the same as it's been for the majority of the season. Clunky at times, not always brilliant in attack or consistently brilliant, but doing enough to win rugby matches, and that is a very good habit to be in. And there were some brilliant moments in that game, especially Benetton's in the lead up to Benetton's first try, where Brex, who again, yes, Nacho Brex, continues his brilliant, fantastic run of form coming out of the Six Nations, returning to Benetton and consistently being just brilliant. And that try that Benetton scored, he scoops up a really bad pass and then manages to beat a couple of defenders and then draw the man and pass the ball to Ratave, who ends up running in with Rhino Smith, and Benetton eventually work the ball wide and end up scoring. So another really good performance by Nacho Brex, just a fantastic player. But generally, looking at the game itself for Benetton, it wasn't perfect. The red card for Nicotera just after half time. And when you see that, you're almost thinking, oh goodness me, here we go. Lions have got the upper hand here. But Benetton end up winning the game and finish the game actually with 13 men, because there was also a yellow card later in that game. So yeah, managing to somehow keep Lions out whilst down players, but I think that's where the forwards come into it. The pack, it's such a big pack, it's such a dominant pack. The set piece, the line out was a bit ropey, especially early on, and in that first sort of 15 minutes or so, the Lions did get a lot of joy. The breakdown they were very successful at, and that is something that Benetton will have to look at going forward, because they were probably beaten in that area, but the scrum was massive again. And I think that sort of goes that we saw that with Italy in the Six Nations, didn't we? Like, that scrum has been so improved, and obviously a lot of that is Benetton based, so the scrum was really good. And obviously when you're competing at the top end of leagues and when you're looking to try and win cup competitions, you've got to have a big pack that provides that front foot ball, and that is what Benetton have got at the moment. And obviously they then have the players that can get the ball, that can get over the gain line when they carry, so they've got that set piece base, they've got players that get over the gain line, so that makes them very, very difficult to stop. Brex, Menoncello, who we didn't see a lot of at the weekend, he's playing out on the wing, and he did that playing for Italy as well, and we probably saw a little bit more of him there, but this was quite a quiet game for him. He didn't get a lot of ball, especially when in that second half when Benetton go down a couple of players. They have to try and play tighter, they have to try and play in a different style of way that's basically meant Menoncello didn't really see much of the ball, but obviously we know what he can do. Fekitoa, Brex, Fekitoa, Menoncello all in that back line is a pretty dangerous prospect, isn't it? And Rhino Smith, big shout out to him. What a consistently brilliant little player he is, quick, and obviously the drop goal, the incredible drop goal from the halfway line, just bangs it over. Absolutely brilliant. What a player he is, and what a player he has been for Benetton, still going strong. So yeah, Benetton managed to get through, and like I said at the start of this season, I don't see why they cannot go and win this tournament. I think they have what it takes. They play Connacht at the weekend, they win that, they'll play the winners of Ospreys or Gloucester. And so if they play Ospreys, they'd be at home, I believe, because I think the highest ranked side in terms of seedings, I think Benetton were third from the group competition. So Benetton would play at home if Ospreys were to win that, but if Gloucester were to win that, then they would be away from home. So yeah, what a semi-final that could be if they get there. But first of all, they've got to beat Connacht, who, you know, on their day are a very difficult team to beat. You know, they've got some quality in there. However, Benetton have been so brilliant at home, haven't they? They've been fantastic. They don't lose. They're just very, very solid and consistent at home. So that is Benetton. We do have to touch on Zebra, obviously, because they were also in this Challenge Cup round of 16. But it's fair to say it didn't quite go to plan. I think no one really expected Zebra to go to South Africa and play the Sharks and win. But I think we all hoped they'd put on a bit more of a performance. And it's been a difficult sort of week for them, playing the Dragons last weekend and losing in their bottom of the table clash. They then go to Sharks on the back of that, again away from home in South Africa, which we know how tough that is. It doesn't matter if the stadiums are half empty, not even half empty, like 3/4 empty. It's pretty grim to see, actually, but the climate, it's so different to what Zebra are used to. So it was a difficult afternoon. 49-3 in the end, which, oh god, it's not pretty, is it? But no one really expected Zebra to go out there. Getting to the round of 16 was an achievement in itself, squeezing through the group in which they played pretty well in, really. You know, they could have got more wins than they got in the end, but bonus points and kind of got them through. So I think it's been a difficult week or so for them. They'll learn a lot, and they're going into this sort of second half of the season now, which they can sort of concentrate on trying to finish in that URC as high as they possibly can. You know, they came into this campaign after on the back of a season without a win, so they've already got one of those, and hopefully they can kick on and pick up something else as the season progresses. But yes, a very difficult afternoon for Zebra out in South Africa. The Sharks progress. They were the number 1 seed going into the knockout stages, and they will. I can't remember who they got now. I think it's Gloucester Ospreys, Clermont against Ulster, I want to say, Benetton against Connacht. I have just checked. Apologies for that. Edinburgh are playing Sharks. So Edinburgh Sharks, Benetton Connacht, Clermont Ulster, and Gloucester against Ospreys. So that is the final. That's the final 8. So those are the quarterfinals. Like I said, if Benetton can get through that would be great. But the Sharks are definitely in there as one of the front runners. They're at home. Yeah, they're going to be difficult for anyone to beat. So yeah, that rounds up the weekend in terms of the two franchises. Obviously last week as well we had the news that Tommaso Menoncello was voted player of the tournament for the Six Nations, which is a great thing for Italian rugby. We obviously haven't had one since Andrea Masi won it. I think that was 2014 or 15, something like that. So it hasn't happened very often. So the Six Nations ends with Italy having their best ever tournament in terms of points, 2 wins and a draw. Player of the tournament in Tommaso Menoncello, which is obviously fully deserved. We all know what he can do. He's 21 years of age. He's an absolute freak in terms of an athlete. He's big, he's powerful, he's strong. He's got the skill set. He's only going to get better. And, you know, we've potentially got at least another 10 years of this man. So he's going to be around for a long time to come. He's only going to get better. The sky really is the ceiling for him. He could go on and do anything. So hopefully he does. And he can stay fit, and I think we want to see him have like a fully fit season, because before the World Cup, obviously he got injured and meant that's Italy didn't have him. So hopefully he can have a fully fit season and really kick on now and progress to the world class centre we basically already is. But who knows how far and how high he could reach in terms of his potential. And then we also had try of the tournament, which was Lorenzo Panni's effort in Cardiff. So great Six Nations for Italy. Nice little bit of news with Tommaso Menoncello. Obviously a lot of people thought Ben Earl would get it. maybe you should have, I don't know, but CallmeMarcello, brilliant for Italian rugby to be there. So yeah, that is your Italian weekly roundup. Obviously we have the Challenge Cup this weekend, so Benetton go into that quarter-final, fingers crossed they get the job done, and they set up a semi-final trip. If they win and Gloucester win, that means it would be played at Kingsholm, which is very near me, so I'm hoping that might be the case, so I can go and watch Benetton play. That would be awesome. Fingers crossed for that then. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back next week at the same time with some more Italian rugby roundup. And ciao for now.